Hey, this is Derek Whatley. In this video, we'll be taking a look at how you can deploy operators that will manage Automation Broker and Template Service Broker instances on our OpenShift cluster. So to begin here, let's take a look at our current cluster service brokers on our OpenShift cluster. And we can see that there are currently no cluster service brokers from that query. Now, if we head over to the Operator Lifecycle Manger section of the new OpenShift admin console, and then move over to our Automation Broker project, we can see that we are able to deploy the Automation Broker operator and the Template Service Broker operator. When we're deploying the Automation Broker, we get to select a namespace, as you can see, and then when we click Create, it will create our operator for us. And once this operator has finished deploying, we'll be able to go over to the Cluster Service Versions pane in the OLM UI, and from there we'll be able to click on Automation Broker Operator. And from here we'll be able to click over to Instances, and this will show us that the operator is currently not managing any instances of an Automation Broker. Now when we head back to the command line, we're going to take a look at a file called automationbroker.cr.yaml. And the important things to look at here are the kind, which is listed on line 3, which is Automation Broker, the name of the Automation Broker instance that we'll be creating on line 5, and the namespace that we're going to be creating the broker in, line 6. There's also a bunch of options that you can see, but we're not going to change any of those for this example. So now that we've inspected our Automation Broker CR file, let's go ahead and do an OC create on it. And if we look at the web UI, we'll immediately see that we have a new instance of an Automation Broker called Automation Broker-Operator, signifying that it was created by the operator. And in this Resources tab, we can see the resources that have been created by OLM for this particular instance of the Automation Broker. When this deployment process completes, we can head over to the pod section of the UI and see that we have an Automation Broker pod. And if we click on this Automation Broker pod and head to the logs, we can see that for the broker redirector container, which is what's shown on the screen right now, that there are some initial logs printed out, and it looks like our broker is most likely ready to go. Now, if we quickly jump back to the command line and look again if we have any cluster service brokers, we can see that we do have one. It's currently having an error fetching the catalog, but that'll resolve itself. So we will take a look at a service we want to create, a Postgres service instance. And you can see that there are a few parameters supplied, has a kind of service instance. Our service class external name is DH PostgreSQL APB, and our parameters are as follows. We can go ahead and run an OC create on this file, and we'll end up with a Postgres database instance in just a few seconds. So going back to the web UI, if we switch to our Postgres project, we see that we'll get a Postgres deploy pod followed by a Postgres application pod, and when we click on that, we'll be able to see the initial logs that come out of that container.